are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts, it's like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 414, part of the Almighty Bowler Podcast Network and Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
I am doing good. I'm going to try to, Jay, lost 9, lost 4, lost 3, lost 5, lost 3, lost 9, lost 8, lost 3, and lost 1. What am I, where do you think I'm going with this?
Are those the teams in the tank race?
Yes, they are all ahead of us, and they're all losing better than we can.
Yeah, well, we lost 9 out of 10. That's pretty good.
Not good enough in this tank race.
It's not good enough, and 2, that one win was against a team below us, so that was really bad.
I mean, it's amazing though. All the teams ahead of us have lost more games consecutively. They're all just like going hardcore, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, Orlando might have had a win in there if we didn't beat them. This
is a pretty intense tank race right now.
This should be the NBA. Seeing this should just say we're done with it. Dallas, the owner of Dallas, Mark Cuban, has said, "Hey guys, stop winning," and he's announced that he said this to his players.
He took them out to dinner to officially tell them to lose.
And he got fined. I think they said he got fined $600,000, which, the money he's going to make from the player he's going to get from tanking probably offsets the $600,000 by a lot.
Right. If this doesn't show that every draft pick should have the same percentage chance of winning the number one pick, I don't know what does. I mean, who cares if a 9th seed gets the number one pick? Who cares? I think that's exciting.
Yeah, I was for a long time thinking that, like, I like the system. The worst team gets, or the close to worst team gets, the better picks. But in the NBA, with so few teams even be able to compete anyway, I'd rather give it to like the 12th seed and have them actually get better, and maybe they can actually compete.
Like, would you be really upset if the Hornets got the number one pick? I mean, forgetting the fact that it's not the Knicks, like, would you be really upset if the Hornets got the pick? Would
you be really upset if Cleveland got it 3 or 4 years because it's really fair?
Right, exactly. It's not like there's not shady stuff going on anyway.
Yeah, I would be fine if Charlotte got it. I'd be fine if Detroit gets it. I'd be fine whoever gets it. It's totally fine. I'd like the Knicks to get it, but this tanking just ruins basketball. I'd rather not root for my team to lose. And you know what? So Knicks this week, they beat Orlando and lost to the Celtics. How'd you feel after they beat Orlando?
Annoyed.
I have to say, we talked about it last week. It seems like the Knicks are so out of it in the tank race because last week they had 23 victories. This week they have 24. But the teams ahead of them are tanking so hard that I don't know a lot of them are even going to get to 23 victories.
There's 6 teams with 18 wins.
I don't want the Knicks to fall. I guess get better. But I don't know. Trey Burke had a huge game, and I'm assuming you're excited about how Trey Burke is playing?
Trey Burke looks great. I mean, I'm really happy about Trey Burke. Okay, fun stat. I don't know if this is actually fun or not. Trey Burke has had 2 straight games with over 25 points and 5 assists. Do you know when the last time that happened?
I actually know because I saw this on Twitter. Nate Robinson, right?
2009.
Well, they'd said also that if you do it to 6 assists, because he had 6 assists in both games.
Who? Nate Robinson?
No, Trey Burke. He had at least 6 in each game. Because they said if you do it for 6, instead of saying 20 and 6, 20 and 5, if you do 20 and 6, it goes all the way back to Stephon Marbury.
Oh, Jesus.
Not exactly like the greatest point guards ever.
No,
like when I saw the Nate Robinson stat, I was like, stop trying to belittle what just happened. I'm pretty excited about it. Don't talk about Nate Robinson.
Trey Burke's defense isn't terrible either.
No, it is. I was surprised Hornacek wasn't playing him more. Like, he's looked pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to go on the Linsanity bandwagon with him, but he looks like a player.
Well, he was drafted fairly high, wasn't he?
He was a 9th pick in the draft.
Yeah, so
And you have to think he was really good in college, and you have to think he's also short. How tall is he? He's or short in NBA terms. He's taller than me. He's 6'1". But in NBA terms, that's considered short. And I bet he probably fell in the draft a little bit because of his height. Like if he was 6'4", he probably been drafted 5th versus 9th.
Right.
And that year he was I think he was third. He was third in the voting for Rookie of the Year. I think third. We can get facts wrong all the time. So if you actually know these things, go, oh, Marc and Jay got something wrong. Well, you're probably right. But he said that. So I guess his rookie year, his defense wasn't great. He was scoring, but it sounded like from things he was saying that he did a little bit partying in his first year, right?
Yeah.
I'm reading it all. They drafted Dante Exum the following year. He said that he kind of lost confidence from that Exum being drafted because he was like, what's going on here? And he was just shaken, basically. And then he got traded to Washington. He didn't go as well in Washington. And then have you heard what the story he was talking about?
No.
Why he's better?
Mm-mm.
So his agent called him this summer and said, Trey, Oklahoma wants you to be their backup point guard. Training camp starts soon. I'm going to sign I'm going to tell him to go. And Trey Burke said no. Trey Burke said, no, I want to go play in the G League with the Knicks.
Wow.
Oklahoma offered him the backup point guard role, or I guess backup whatever. And he said no to go play the G League with the Knicks. Do you know why?
He's certifiably insane.
He discovered God, you're right. He discovered God. He's become very religious. And because of this religious, he said to himself he needed to remake himself. He didn't want to go down the same path. He wanted a big platform to really have a platform that he can give a message to people. He said he's no more partying. He's married now, settling. I believe he's married now. He really wants to settle down and become a really good NBA player. And so he said, I need to retool my game. And instead of going to play for Oklahoma, I'm better off going to the G League, playing well, and then making it to New York. And if I'm in New York and I play well, my message of God will have a bigger platform.
Okay. I mean, so if he wants to get 25 and 6 while doing all that, good for him.
Yeah. But I also am convinced that he thought the G League stood for the God League and was really confused by when everyone's like, yeah, Gatorade. He's like, oh, God, I should have gone to Oklahoma.
So the last couple games,
Yeah.
Jack hasn't played at all.
You mean he's played the perfect number of minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also, Jack also, they should cut him and go let him to play. A playoff contender would pick him up, don't you think? Like Cleveland should pick him up.
Yeah.
If you're Cleveland, would you rather give Jose Calderon minutes or Jarrett Jack? Jarrett Jack in a second.
Yeah, Jack's playing way better than Calderon.
Yeah, so I feel like cut him now. There's no reason he has to sit. I don't think he needs to sit on the bench here. Forgetting the fact that I don't want him playing, but it's kind of disrespectful to him to say hey, you've helped us all season, and now we're just going to make you ride the bench the rest of the way.
Right. Well, if it happens, it has to happen in the next 4 days because he needs to get waived by March 1st.
I would assume, and I assume the Knicks probably have talked to his agent, said, if you could find a team that will take him, we'll cut him. If not, we're not going to embarrass him by making him just be out of the NBA.
Right. Because you never know when somebody's going to roll an ankle, or Mudiay doesn't look good, so maybe you just want to stop playing him.
Yeah, I mean, but he doesn't need to play anymore.
Jack doesn't need to play. I'm over Mudiay though.
Because you've watched him play.
Yeah, I watched him play. I'm done.
I'm not done with him, but I don't mind the Knicks. You don't mind the Knicks playing him right now. You still
I don't
would
mind the Knicks playing him, but I'm I get why Denver stopped playing you.
Yeah, he doesn't look. He turns the ball over. I don't know. I don't see a lot there. His defense doesn't look that special to me. Once in a while, he drives the basket.
His defense looks downright lazy.
I don't understand. Okay, so just on a side note, why does Hornacek say to every point guard, okay, here's how we do things in New York. You may want to do pick and roll. You may want to attack the basket. We're passing to the center at the top of the key, and the center initiates the offense. Every point guard has to do this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird.
It's a little weird because it's basically, there was one play, I think Mudiay did it. He was from 15 feet away past the Kyle Quinn at the center position, Like, it was just like a ridiculous pass to get the ball into him. And even Clyde was like, why'd he do that? All it does is stagnate the offense because the offense has to, like, reset. And you basically take the ball out of the playmaker, the guy supposed to, like, start the offense, the point guard.
Yeah. It's strange.
It's strange also because I don't think these guys are all having the exact same idea, the exact same epiphany. They're all like, you know, it'd be the best thing to throw the ball to Kyle Quinn at the center position or Enes Kanter. Oh, you're right. I had the same exact idea. I mean, it's something that in Hornacek's offense that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and there's a lot about Hornacek that doesn't make sense.
It's. I don't think, like, other teams don't really do this play. I mean, I've seen other teams do it a little bit, but no team has gone to it the way the Knicks go to it. It just stagnates the offense, and it's definitely a Hornacek thing, not a Knick point guard, like not the actual individual thing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
other Knicks news: the Knicks signed Troy Williams. A lot of new faces around lately.
Yeah, I was telling my son about this, and he was just like, "Dad, we have a whole new team."
Pretty
yeah.
much.
I was explaining to him Trey Burke, how we're excited for him. By the way, Trey Burke, his numbers right now, he's shooting 54% from the field, 39% from three. His efficient field goal percentage is almost 59%. Effective field goal percentage, I'm a moron. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
His per 36 numbers are 23 points a game and 8 assists.
So I definitely want him back on the team.
And again, his offensive and defensive rating, which I don't know how much to put in this, but he's 126 offensive rating and 113 defensive rating. So a plus 13.
Yeah, I mean that's really good.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of him. Do you think is he our point guard of the future?
It would be weird if Burke comes out of nowhere and just takes Ntilikina's spot.
It would be weird. I don't mind them playing together though. Like,
no.
Ntilikina looks pretty solid. His defense looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Having the two next to each other, like, and Ntilikina was even every once in a while the last 2 games he would be like aggressive, and it looked pretty cool when he was aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, if next year's lineup is Burke, Ntilikina, small forward to be drafted, Porzingis when he comes back, and I don't know, Kanter, that's not bad.
You know, it's gonna be Timmy also. They're gonna find a way to have Timmy.
Oh yeah, the 3 is Timmy. Duh.
Yeah,
Burke, Ntilikina, Timmy, Porzingis, Kanter. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the point guard experiment here. I'd like Mudiay being out there for this. If he's out there for the sole purpose of being a young player to, like, kind of give them competition, that sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're taking a flyer. By the way, have you seen Willie Hernan-Gomez's minutes as of late?
No.
He's been playing major minutes.
Really?
Yeah, he's been putting up. I'm gonna pull up his game log real quick. His agent demanded the Knicks trade him to a team that would play him, and he's finally getting his wish.
I'm trying to decide if you're being sarcastic or he's actually getting minutes.
No, he's getting tons of minutes. So I'll read you the rest of his minutes in game so far. 123. Did not play. 1 minute, 23 seconds.
That's not a lot.
Did not play. Inactive. 149. Inactive. 7 minutes and 37 seconds. That was pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
That was also his last game with the Knicks. The Knicks have not. I mean, it's almost like a joke they traded to Charlotte, who's like, yeah, I don't know why we even took him.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they probably figured maybe they'll work him in next year, or like he's part of their future. I don't know. It's just weird that they're not even playing him.
Maybe they had a practice and they're like, oh yeah, you really are the worst on defense.
They're like, no, ha, no, the play defense. No, ha, play defense. Oh,
right. Oh, you weren't trolling the Knicks? Oh, we've made a horrible error.
Speaking of ex-Knicks, just for the hell of it, let me find this tweet.
Are you doing a Where Are They Now?
Yeah, I'm going to do Where Are They Now? You try to figure out what Knick that Bill Simmons is talking about. Let's find it. Blank's decline is becoming harder and harder to ignore. Doesn't get to the line anymore, barely rebounds, misses a crazy amount of shots. He's only 33. This doesn't totally make sense to me.
I was going to say Rose until you said 33. That it's got to be Carmelo.
Yes. If it was Rose, it would be doesn't rebound, get to the line or anything because he's not an active NBA player.
Yeah, well, we knew the Melo decline was coming. I think the Knicks timed that just about perfectly.
I mean, perfectly would be probably a year prior, but yeah.
Perfectly would have been not renewing his contract, but saying you renewed his contract, it was pretty good timed.
Yeah. So as far as the games,
I mean, he's pretty much J.R. Smith now. He's just the guy that jacks up a bunch of shots, and sometimes he's hot and sometimes he's not.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if J.R. Smith is better.
No, have you seen J.R. Smith?
Oh, he's having a bad year, right?
He's having the worst year of his career. Yeah.
Oh. Wow! I just looked at J.R. Smith's PER is 8.7.
Yeah, no, he's been absolutely horrible.
What is Carmelo's PER? Not that it matters that much, but because I don't even understand how PER works or any stats really. But his PER is 13. Not very good, Melo.
No, not good.
I mean, he has a real point guard finally, and he's shooting 41% from the field.
Not good either.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's going to the playoffs though. So
that is true. It's good for his brand.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, God bless. I'd root for Melo. Well, I'm not going to root for Melo. I guess I don't want to see him play well because I'm an asshole. So, so the Orlando Magic game, I was happy about. I'm not happy. I'd rather them lost the game for tanking purposes. But Ntilikina playing pretty well. Hard to get upset about that. I'm not Ntilikina. I mean Trey Burke. And Ntilikina played pretty well also. But like Trey Burke's explosion onto this explosion made me pretty happy about that. Anything else you want to mention about that game?
Troy Williams' first game looked decent. He only played 6 minutes, but he had 2 out of 3 shots. Not too bad.
Is it weird that Troy Williams' only minutes came to start the fourth quarter? Like Hornacek's like, okay, you haven't played all night. Let's just put you in the fourth.
Yeah, you're ice cold, right? All right, get in there.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a bizarre. It was almost like Hornacek was in favor of tanking, being like, let's take the new guy and just play him in the fourth quarter. But Troy Williams, he looked okay.
Kornett's starting to look like his first game was a fluke.
I don't know. Well, he didn't. So he was in Westchester. They because of minutes or something to do with the two-way contracts, they're switching off. And so Hicks against Boston, Hicks was active and Kornett was in Westchester, and then they're going to reverse that for the Golden State game, the next game.
Interesting.
There's something to do with number of days they're allowed to be in New York or whatever. But I don't know. Kornett's missed a lot of shots. I feel like I don't know. You're hitting 40-something% of your shots in Westchester. It's not that different in the NBA. It's the same 3-point line.
And Troy Williams looked even better in Boston.
Oh yeah, no, he looked pretty good in Boston too. Yeah.
So I mean, right now, this is what we wanted like 20 games ago. You got Dodson, Burke, Ntilikina, Williams, all getting.
I'm sorry. Dodson's not getting minutes. Well, I don't know what. How does Troy Williams? Troy Williams got here like 5 days ago and gets more minutes than Dodson. Hornacek just doesn't like Dodson.
Yeah, Dodson's getting 7 minutes, which is more than 0, which is what I meant. But it's still. Courtney Lee's minutes are way down. Way down.
No, I agree with you, and I agree they're taking minutes from him. Dodson had 3 turnovers in 7 minutes, it was just terrible. At the same time, he's in a situation where the coach yanks him so fast from games, he feels like he has to do something. Let the guy play for 20 minutes a night and see what you have here.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He also got 4 rebounds in 7 minutes.
I don't know. He didn't look that bad. I know he had 3 turnovers, but he didn't look as terrible as it. I mean, Mudiay had 4 turnovers. Mudiay didn't look very good. The guys that are getting a lot of minutes that are kind of annoying me. And not that much. Does Michael Beasley need these many minutes?
I mean, he's like the token vet that's getting minutes now, since Jack and Lee don't really get minutes. And Beasley's he's playing under 30 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. And
I can't really complain much about. I'd say I'd want more Dodson, but I can't really complain much about the last 2 games. If the rest of the season's like this, there's actually going to be player development.
Yeah, and I can't complain about Hardaway's minutes because Hardaway, he's got 3 more years here. He's 25 years old. We want him to figure out his game and play better.
It looks like he's starting to warm up right in time to ruin the tank.
Yeah, of course. But I have no issue with Hardaway playing. I don't want to cut his minutes. Cantor and O'Quinn, I would only cut them in the sense of giving Luke Kornett some more minutes. At one point last night against the Celtics, they won a smaller lineup where I think Lance Thomas was the center.
I don't know if we need 20 minutes a night from O'Quinn at this point.
I don't know if he needs, but I get the idea that if you want to have a center out there, then there's no alternative.
Right.
Except unless you have what's his name active. And if Luke Kornett's there, then he should get some like 15 minutes at center. Do you want to do our caller?
Yeah, sure. Let's go to the call and 10 minutes with a diehard Knicks fan.
Yes. Okay. We are here with our 10-minute with a diehard fan. We are with an Australian, Mitch Tuff. Is that really your name?
That is really my name.
That's your guy. Your last name is really Tough, and your first name is Mitch.
That's correct.
Well, Mitch, obviously. That's not the. You have an awesome name, by the way. Do they make names better in Australia?
I think so. I think that's how it works. They just pick out of a handful.
Okay.
Whatever names are available, they just give you the best one.
Do you have any siblings named like Goddamn Tough?
I wish. Maybe if I have a son one day, that'll be his name.
Any chance you just want to play for the Knicks? Knicks need a guy that's tough, so they haven't been tough since the 90s.
I'm happily to sign a 10-day.
Okay, yeah. I mean, why not? I mean,
They're giving him 21 now.
You'll get more playing time than Dodson. So, let me ask you. I imagine you've lived most, if not all, your life in Australia. How did you become a Knicks fan?
I came over in the Mellow trade as with about the rest of the Nuggets, I guess.
Okay.
I was a first year watching basketball, which was watching the Nuggets, watching Mellow, loved it, so I thought I'd get on the bandwagon.
Wow.
And been stuck here ever since.
And instead of getting the right bandwagon, you got on a bandwagon driven by a drunk owner, and it's not gone well since.
Yeah, I've since learned it's a nightmare team, but...
Well, thank you for sticking with it.
Yeah, I'll be a Knicks till I die.
What's been you've been a Knicks fan for 7 or 8 years now. What's been the highlight of your Knicks fandom?
Oh, I got to say that 54 win season was about the best the only thing we can claim to fame in a while.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
That was pretty unreal to watch. Watched about every game of that, and it was great.
That was pretty awesome. That was a great season. Knicks played well, and then as fast as possible, got rid of everyone and abandoned all principles from that season.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the Knicks do, right?
That's what you do. That is what's so Knicksian about it.
I love it.
How are you enjoying this season? When you came into this season, what did you expect?
I had low expectations to start off with, and they kind of KP come out firing, and I thought, okay, this could be better. And then we kind of fell off the cliff, as we do.
Yes. And we broke things along the way, including KP.
Yes, yeah. Rest peacefully, son.
Yeah, I mean, so what's the bright side of this? KP's injured. The
draft. Surely. That's all you got. Minutes for the young guns and the draft.
Who do you like of the young guys? Have you been watching it? So, do you watch the games regularly?
I watch as many as I can. It's about 2 or 3 a week. The rest I just go on the radio while I'm at work.
Okay. Have you watched this week?
I watched the Boston game.
Okay. What did you think of the young guys? What was your impression? Like, are you excited about anyone?
I enjoyed it. I mean, Troy Williams played great. I think that was one of his better games of the 2 or 3 he's played.
Yeah,
he was good to watch. I like to see Dodson, but man, he's still not enough minutes. I think he's playing 10 a game the last 3 games since the All-Star break. It's still not enough.
Yeah, maybe like I think when Hornacek got the team, he got there and he got player cards and somehow mixed them up, and he thinks Dodson 32 and Jarrett Jack is 23. Maybe that's it.
I think so.
But Jarrett Jack hasn't played. Jay and I were talking before we called you about Trey Burke. He's had 2 very good games. Are you on the Trey Burke bandwagon? If you're on the bandwagon, does that mean bad things up ahead?
Oh, of course. I mean, we're Knicks fans. I've liked Trey. I enjoy the 3-point guard lineup we ran. I think it's Boston.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that. I think there's potential in that if Mudiay can actually defend, but we'll find out.
I'm kind of excited about Trey Burke. I feel like I'm not saying this guy's going to be this greatest point guard ever, but seems.
I think he could come into a great 6-man role and just that instant offense.
Yeah, I think so too. he's better than what we've had in a while, at least.
Yeah, definitely.
If he can stay efficient, that's the big thing. If he can keep hitting shots, then by all means, we found something here.
Yeah, I mean, that's about the same with anyone. If we can keep hitting shots, we can just go back 3 or 4 games in a row where we fire and then fall off a cliff again.
It does kind of seem like the whole team, you're like, if anyone could hit a goddamn shot around here, we'd have a good team.
Yeah, 100%.
Like Ntilikina, you're like, wow, if you could just hit shots, it would all be great. And you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Mudiay, when you get to the basket, if you could put the ball in the basket, we'd be delighted.
He has this inept ability to not get a layup.
Yeah, Mudiay is really good at putting the ball anywhere but in the hoop when he gets there.
100%. And he looks like he's way out of control when he's driving to the hoop, and then somehow it makes it look even worse when he's trying to hit a layup.
Yeah, I don't know if that. So in my mind, you look at Ntilikina, and Mudiay's 2 years ahead of him, right, in the league.
Yeah.
If Ntilikina looks like Mudiay 2 years from now, do we just like take a hammer to our feet and just injure ourselves because we're like so unhappy about this?
Oh, I really hope that's not the comparison we're dreaming for.
I almost feel like Mudiay is like the Knicks version of like Ntilikina. This is our scared straight program. 2 years from now, if you don't work hard enough, you will be Mudiay, and we'll have to dump you on some other team for nothing. Yeah.
Let's pray.
Do you think Ntilikina is going to be good?
I want to as much as anyone, but I have this weird. I think it's the Australian in me that just sees like a Dante Exum of, come out really, really good, looked great in college, and then fell off a cliff. Kind of has the similar body, and I don't want to say it. I just see the similarities there.
I mean, the big thing everyone says about him is that he's really good on defense. I think we can agree that his defense is well ahead of his offense.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and a lot of guys come in the league like where they're really good on offense and their defense has to catch up. Can you catch up? Yeah, can you does that work? Can you be good on defense and catch up on your offense?
I think so. I mean, I hope so. I think the off season is going to be really good for Ntilikina. I mean, he's got a full off season ahead, and I think it's going to help his game a lot. He'll work at it. He'll put on a few pounds.
Yeah,
I think he'll be the much better player coming at the start of next season.
I would have to agree. I feel like there are a lot of things where he's like, I've got to work on this, got to work on this, got to work on this. And in the season, there's little time to like practice and really work on stuff. And now he's got
one practice a week or something.
Yeah, so now he's got a game plan of things he really needs to improve. I mean, one thing they're saying is his handle. Like Troy Burke can really dribble. He's got a handle. You look at Ntilikina, you feel like the ball's gonna get stolen from him too much.
Every time, yeah.
Every time. The one thing that people have said is like if he doesn't have a handle at this point, is that like deadly for his success at point guard?
So yeah, does he go to a 2-guard then?
Yeah, and is that why the Knicks are playing him there?
He's played well off the ball, so I mean I don't mind it.
I don't mind. In the 54-win season, the Knicks did a lot of 2-point guard lineups. If you do something here where it's like, where it's Trey Burke or some other like decent point guard with Ntilikina, maybe that works. I don't know.
I think so.
That wouldn't be bad. Anything's better than what we've been
trying to get his shot by playing him at 2-guard for the rest of the year. They're just trying to get his shot up and let someone else distribute the ball while he's still working on the handle.
Yeah, I kind of think they probably did that in some ways to say like, hey, work on your handle, work on your offense. Just focus on your offense. We get you can play defense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So where are we going to finish in the tank?
I'm thinking about 7-8, and I'm just hoping the lottery balls fall our way.
Would you change the like? I've come to hate the tank. I mean, I think the Knicks need the tank, but at this point, but I've come to hate the tank, the lottery. I think the whole system is terrible for the NBA.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've seen for 5 or 6 years Philly were just awful, and finally they got some good players. But how long does it take? I mean, we're Knicks fans. We don't have patience.
And yeah, I mean, we have no patience whatsoever. And it's, I mean, we get cap space. We're like, cap space. Oh my God, Tim Hardaway, you want a lot of money? Here you go.
Have all of the money.
Have all of it. We've got cap space. Noah, can you walk anymore? Here, take money.
Oh, you can walk fine. You can still sign a contract, right?
If I could do push-ups,
all we can do.
If I could do pull-ups off your arm, that's NBA skills. Okay, here's $17 million.
Oh God.
It would be great if Phil had said, oh, I saw Noah playing basketball really well. That's why I gave him the money, not because I did pull-up off his arm.
It would have had to be a pickup game outside somewhere in New York there. It's the only people he could beat, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, competition's pretty tough on the street here in New York, so.
Yeah, so I mean, man, it must have been outside New York.
So, this season is kind of a wash. Next season, we're going to get KP back halfway through the year, maybe, and he's probably not going to be fully himself till the following season. So here, my basic question to you is: will you die of old age before the Knicks make the playoffs again?
Well, yeah, of course.
What's our timeline? When are we competing? When are we making the playoffs again?
We got this cap space. We got 2019, 2020. The god awful Noah's gone. I mean, this next year we just got to try and get some. I reckon next year we have to play KP at the 5. I mean, going forward, he's got to play the 5. And we've got to get someone that can switch onto guards because we cannot seem to do that at all.
I just want someone, whether it be a 4 or a 5, I don't care where you play KP. I mean, I care. I think the 5 makes some sense. But either a 4 or a 5 next to him who's really good on defense, because I think that pairing would make a lot of sense. I think
we need like a perimeter defender to try and stop the big man.
I mean, having Cantor next to him doesn't seem to really work well because Cantor plays no defense and KP's none. Great, he's taking up space and I have to defend his man, so it doesn't really help me.
Exactly. I'm sorry, against Boston, I mean, they just run everything at Cantor. They run pick and rolls, pick and pop, just constantly at Cantor, and they made a fool of us.
I mean, the only good thing about having Cantor out there is at least you know where the play is coming. They're like, it's coming at you, Cantor. Every time, Cantor. Every time. So just if you could do something about that. I mean, it's just like his awareness of when they switch, and he always just it's like he's like, oh, I thought we were playing follow the leader. I had to follow the other guy in my team.
I was just running him around. Oh god.
I mean, there's so many guys. You're like, how did I get so open? And you hit you rewind the play. You're like, oh, Cantor Cantor
stopped.
Okay. Yeah,
left on an island.
I don't. Kyle Quinn, I think, is better in defense, but I don't think he's exactly amazing on defense either.
No, exactly. He's we need that perimeter defender that can switch onto people, and we do not have that in anyone.
Yeah. Who are you hoping for in the draft?
I haven't seen a lot. I think one of the is it Bagley's? Yeah, Bagley. One of the I think they look like a decent prospect. You know, that athletic guy that can switch, can kind of hit a shot.
Yeah,
and that's what we need in there is like that small power forward guy that can defend multiple positions and get above the hoop.
That would be really nice. I have to say Troy Williams. The nice thing about Troy Williams was that he looks like I don't know if he could be really seriously a star like a starter in the league later on. But I was watching him like, oh, this guy's really athletic. We don't have a lot of guys like that.
No, we do not.
Like he did the on the Boston game. He had the highlight as Knicks fans, one of our favorite highlights when a guy basically puts back a shot, misses a shot, and he puts it back in for a dunk, which is one of the more fun plays to watch. And I'm like, besides KP, no one else in this team that can do that. Like,
who else can do that? No. It's
nice to have another guy athletic on this team. I'm tired of watching Lance Thomas and being like, this is what passes for athletic.
It's a joke.
So our 10 minutes are up, but let me ask you, in Australia, where in Australia are you?
Gold Coast, Queensland.
Okay. Are there a lot of do you have a lot of Knick fan friends? Like, what's the Knick community around you? Okay.
It's about zero.
Okay.
They all jumped off the bandwagon long ago.
I don't blame them. It's hard to argue. At least we could say you could I'm in New York. I would look stupid jumping off the bandwagon. You're in Australia. You'd be like, I stopped following them because they're terrible. People are like, yeah, makes sense.
No, I can't do it. They're my team. I won't believe them.
I appreciate that. Are there? What are your friends? I imagine you have some friends who are NBA fans. What do they say to you?
It's mostly laughter.
Okay, so do they try to bring you to like mental health wards or anything?
After the KP injury, I got a lot of consoling hugs, and I got a lot of pity then. But other than that, it's mostly laughter.
Okay, yeah, it is a tough route being a Knicks fan.
Oh, it is.
But thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure, guys. Love the
show. Jay, anything you want to add?
No. Do you have Twitter or anything you want to plug?
Nah, nothing like that.
You want to plug Australia?
Yeah, come to Australia.
Okay.
Thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Another good call.
And potentially the coolest name of anyone that's called us. No offense to anyone else, but Mitch Tuff is a pretty cool name. I don't think I could even pull that name off. If I was like going to school, I'd be like, I'm Mitch Tough. And people are like, okay, we're gonna beat you up.
Wedgies for you.
Like, oh, damn it. So Knicks. Yeah. What else do we want to talk about Knicks? Anything else you want to add before we get to questions?
We covered Williams. We covered the new lineups. No, let's go to questions. We pretty much covered the Celtics and Orlando games.
You heard Jimmy Butler's injured?
Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler's out for like 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota was just... I mean, they're still going to make the playoffs, but they might not get home court now, which is kind of annoying because they've been in third like all season.
Yeah. I thought that was... Yeah, that kind of sucks. The other move I thought was funny is around the NBA was Isaiah Thomas commented that they said the Cavs made a panic move in trading him.
Well, it's true. They did.
They did, but a very correct panic move.
And did you see Jaja fall on Westbrook's legs?
Yeah, I saw they showed some highlights of him beside that play. Like, he's kind of a dirty player, huh?
Yeah, to me it looked like he could have stopped his fall or fell some other way, and he's just like, no, I'm just going to fall like as hard as I can on his legs.
Yeah, they showed some other plays of him where he did like other things similar where like it's not clear that he was being dirty. At the same time, you're like, all together, you're like, he's kind of a dirty player.
Yeah, which really changes my opinion on the Kevin Durant backpedaling thing from a year or two ago.
The backpedaling thing?
Yeah, where he like backpedaled and it stepped on his foot or whatever and injured him.
Right.
I mean, at first I was like, oh no, that's not Jaja's fault. But now I'm thinking maybe he did do that on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. But you know what? I feel like he's a dirty player, and I hope his team loses a lot of games.
I'm sure they will.
They actually, they're not. I always thought it was interesting. I looked at the standings. They don't have the best record in the NBA anymore.
No, they lost 6 out of their last 10 and lost the number 1 spot.
Yeah, I can't believe Houston's ahead of them.
I mean, they're probably just phoning it in right now because they don't care.
I have to think there has to be a little bit of that, but like you do that enough. I mean, do you turn it back on the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, some teams can, some teams can. It's a really hard gamble. I wouldn't gamble with that.
I mean, the NBA, it would make the NBA a lot more interesting if they lost.
It would.
I would love to see. Houston versus Cleveland, or Houston versus Boston, or I don't like Boston, but just like different teams up there would be pretty great.
I hate Houston. That's the problem.
I don't mind Houston. I don't. What, you just hate Harden or what?
I don't like Harden. I'm still bitter about the finals, the Knicks finals.
Yeah, but that's a long time ago.
I'm still bitter about it. It's not like the Knicks did anything to make me not bitter about that.
If I'm going to hate every team that beat the Knicks, that would be a long list.
Just the teams that beat the Knicks in the finals.
Okay, so you don't like the Spurs either?
I used to hate the Spurs, and then it turned into respect a couple years ago. I'm like, holy crap, these guys are just so consistently good. I stopped hating them.
I'm not going to hold grudges like this. I mean, I don't hate Miami anymore or Indiana, whatever. The Houston, I kind of like watching. They're kind of a fun team to watch play. The way I kind of like what's more Daryl Morey's system.
Yeah, I don't like all the flopping and all that.
I don't like the flopping at all. But
the offensive, throw the ball into the guy's chest and get a foul call. I don't like any of that stuff.
I do think when they're not doing that, the offense when it's being run by like Harden is a thing of beauty. Like he just hits those guys with the 3-point shots and they just nail every shot and or he drives the basket, he's almost unstoppable. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a fun thing to watch. I don't know. So I don't mind Houston at all. I would root for them if Houston versus Golden State. I'll take Houston.
No, I'd still go Golden State with that one.
Okay. I mean, I think Golden State would win that matchup, but I'd rather see Houston win that matchup.
I'll root for Houston if they play the Cavs.
Okay. So we are. It sounds like as far as the Knicks, as far as players, we're past our level of bitterness. We're not angry at Hornacek right now. We're a little. I'm at least a little miffed maybe about Dotson's minutes, but overall, we're kind of fine with his the fact that he's playing young guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're past angry with the season. We're in acceptance mode.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go to questions.
All right, we didn't get any emails today. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. We're nyknickspodcast on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. The New York Knicks Podcast.com is our website. Still a couple shirts available if you want to help support the show, or you can subscribe through Patreon, $1 a month, and you can help support our show.
Yes.
Because podcasting is expensive.
Yeah, and we've been doing it for a while, so hook us up. If
We
you
have
happen to be
500 and something free hours of material. It's not bad. It's worth a buck.
If you're a Knicks fan and you happen to be a billionaire, help us out.
Also, we got a few new iTunes reviews. I don't know if you want to read those.
Do you have them up?
I do not, but I could pull them up if you want to.
Yeah. Why don't you pull them up? I'll go with the first question. So we did a couple questions off. So a couple questions off of Twitter. And first question, this wasn't officially a question for the show, but I figured. Keith wrote us, I'm convinced Hornacek might be gone at the end of the season. What do you think, Jay?
It would fit. I mean, the Knicks seem to go through a coach every other year. I don't think he's done anything egregious, but he hasn't done anything that I think that's really impressed anybody either.
By the way, I wanted to say that just a correction. I think last show we were talking about him pushing Noah, and I guess there's conflicting reports. Some people have reported that he pushed Noah, and some people said that did not happen. So I don't want to say that. I don't think the Knicks have been great under Hornacek. I mean, they're pretty much the exact same record as last year. And I don't know.
My thing is, before the season started, we said they might be the worst defensive team like ever. So,
but they've been pretty horrible for a lot of the season.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't really knock them for the team being bad when we thought they were going to be terrible. Yeah,
I mean, that's totally true. I mean, do you think he gets the most out of the players? Would it be better to have a more experienced coach out there?
I mean, I don't know who's going to get much more out of this roster. It's a bad roster.
I mean, that's a fair point.
It was a bad roster when Porzingis was there. It's a terrible roster now.
Well, here's the question. For next year, if he wasn't our coach, would you hire Hornacek to make him our coach?
I guess it depends who else is out there. I wouldn't go out and seek him.
Well, I guess the question really is that if you wouldn't go out of your way to hire him, then why stick with him?
Alternatives?
Yeah, there are other coaches out there. It doesn't have to be Mark Jackson. There are other people out there who can probably be good coaches. Probably get someone good guy from college. Probably get some. There are a lot of guys that don't. I'm sure there are a lot of good guys out there that are coaches that we could get.
Yeah,
we can get an assistant from San Antonio, or you could probably find someone who's better. Why stick with Hornacek if you think he's kind of blah? There's no.
Yeah, I know. It's just the switching coaches every other year is annoying too, because then they have their own ideas, and everyone's got to relearn the offense again.
Is Hornacek running an offense? Okay, guys, you remember how we used to pass when we dribble up, we pass to the center at the top of the key? We're not going to do that anymore. Okay, we're good. We'll learn the new system. Is there much of a system that Hornacek runs?
I don't know.
He doesn't really run much of a system. There's not when you say learn a new system, you mean they'd have to learn a system.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, not every, I have nothing that I've seen from Hornacek I'm like, oh, he's someone I'm glad we have here. He's kind of mediocre, like the roster.
True. All right, Twitter.
Okay. More Twitter. Jorge writes, what motivates you guys to keep going with the show, being Knicks fans? I've been a Knicks fan since Melo, and I'm starting to think I'll probably witness the Knicks win a championship when I'm in my 50s. I'm 23, by the way.
It's really just the listeners at this point. If we didn't get emails and messages and stuff telling us that they like the show, I probably wouldn't do it anymore.
I think I kind of just want to stick with this till the team gets good, because I kind of want to see what the show is like with the Knicks having a good team. We had a little of it.
Decades.
You're not in for decades, Jay? What do you got? What do you got going on with your life, Jay? Come on.
Hey, this is episode 9,400. The Knicks are finally in the conference finals.
But that would be a good ass episode. I don't know. I don't really. I mean, I like watching the team play. I like talking about it. That's
part of the reason we started this show is because not a lot of our friends are basketball fans. So at least we get to talk about it with somebody.
Yeah, it's fun talking about it. And it seemed like a good idea. I guess we both kind of thought the Knicks would be better by this point.
Yeah.
We didn't think we would just be doing a podcast about a team that was this horrible for almost the entire time we've done the
We were
show.
like, oh, it'd be so cool if we were doing the show when they were like perennial, contenders, and so let's start right before they get Amari and Melo and get something going.
The first year was when they got Amari, right?
Yeah.
We didn't do it before, so like things were on the upswing, and then they got Melo. In theory.
In reality, it was not.
In theory, you're like, oh, when they got Melo, I'm like, oh my God, this team's going to be really good. This is going to be so exciting. And then you're like, okay, well, they're not. Okay, we made the first round of the playoffs. We got like swept. Whatever. The next year will be even better. And you're like, okay. Well, we made the first round and got knocked out of the first round. But they won 54 games. You're like, okay, now it's going to be really good. And then we got bad again. And it's been pretty goddamn miserable since.
Yeah.
Jay, do you want to just call the show?
Yeah. Thank you for listening all these years. We're done.
OCS Jr. writes, OCS Jr. Should we keep Hornacek and hire a defensive coach? Jeff writes, who's untouchable? I feel like Porzingis is the only guy that cannot be moved, and I really want to keep Frank. With the rebuild, who can we not afford to give up?
There's nobody on this roster that we cannot afford to give up.
Besides, including Porzingis?
Including Porzingis.
So
I'm not saying I want Porzingis gone. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying he's not untouchable.
You're just saying if other teams want to, some reason or another, call you with offers, you're down for it.
I'm just saying if somebody blew you away with an offer for a guy who just tore his ACL, maybe you should think about that.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point.
The guy's 7'3". We don't know how he's going to recover.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous.
He might be fine, but he might not, and you have to think about that if you get offers. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the Knicks. What I'm convinced of now is, to a certain extent, I thought maybe you can get Porzingis, have a bunch of good guys around him, and win. I'm convinced you need a guy now that's as good, if not better, than Porzingis next to him.
Yeah.
I don't mean next to him as like just another guy in the starting lineup, whatever position. We need another guy who's a star, or else this is not going to work.
Good. That's great.
So I'm just saying, in this draft pick, not to put more pressure on it, but since we're drafting 9th or 10th in the draft anyway, if we can get a once-in-a-generation talent, we should be good.
Well, ESPN just moved Doncic up to the number 1 spot in their mock draft, so the odds of getting him just decreased significantly.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll win the draft lottery and get him.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced that Doncic's going to be amazing. He probably will be. I don't know. He's one of these guys. He seems like he has the. Remember when LeBron was in high school and you like hear about him and you're like, they're like, when this guy gets to the NBA, he's going to be insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were talking about him for that long. I feel with Doncic, they've been talking about him for a couple of years now, and he's 18 years old.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's one of those guys that has the same kind of following where he gets here, he might just be like awesome right away. Yep. I don't think he's gonna be LeBron, but
well,
that's not saying much.
Yeah. He's not like a top 2 player ever in the NBA.
Then he sucks.
Yeah.
By the way, I think I'd be willing to bet you money that LeBron ends up on Philly. I am convinced that he's going to Philly. It's the only thing that makes sense.
It's the only thing that makes sense, but I don't know if he'll necessarily do that.
I think it's the only thing that's going to make sense. What do you think he's going to do?
I have no idea what he's going to do.
It's like theory. What?
There's been way too much LA chatter.
But LA, I don't see how he's. First of all, I think he's going to, at the end of the day, going to say, "Am I a moron? I can go to the finals, or I can go to like the West and like battle it out in the playoffs every year."
Yeah,
and
if I was him, I'd go to Philly.
And with the LA squad, like, the team's not that good. I mean, you add LeBron to it. I don't know if they're better than Houston or Golden State.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, they're the roster, the supporting cast there is not amazing. Like, I don't think he has a better situation there than he does in Cleveland.
Right.
I feel like if anything, it's like pretty even.
It's a comparable team, but a much tougher conference.
Yeah, Cleveland might be better than what he has in LA, unless Ball like really develops. Philly makes a ton of sense. I don't know. I just don't see all the teams with limited cap space. I don't see them working out a trade. So,
Yeah.
Okay. Declan writes: Is Trey Burke bad for the tank? He's a better player than Mudiay, although 25 is still a young age.
Is who better?
Is Trey Burke bad for the tank?
Bad for the tank. I mean, no. This is what you can't have everyone be terrible. What you want in the tank is young, unproven guys playing.
I mean, if Trey Burke plays well enough that we're like, Trey Burke's our starting point guard, he's a lock for next year at our starting point guard, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I got no issue. Do you think he has like that not this season's Isaiah Thomas, obviously, but last year, like an Isaiah Thomas quality to him? Maybe I'm just making the comparison because he's the same height, basically.
No, Isaiah Thomas is way shorter.
Is Isaiah Thomas way shorter?
There's no way Isaiah Thomas cracks 6 feet.
Is he 5'11"?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I think he's like 5'8".
5'9". Oh wow, he is short. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, do you have that comparison of a guy that's a little bit undersized, and obviously it's not as undersized as Isaiah Thomas, but he can do a lot. I don't know. Like
Isaiah Thomas is like one of the worst defenders ever in the NBA. I don't think.
I meant his offense from Boston last year. I forget the Isaiah Thomas part of it. Trey Burke. Forget about Isaiah Thomas. Just shut up about him. That was a terrible analogy. Just shut the hell up about it. Trey Burke, point guard. Is there a chance that he could be like our answer at point guard? And I know it's a 2-game sample. He's played some other games, but like the 2 games that we're excited about, are we being a little bit too crazy?
We're being a little bit too crazy, but I mean,
I feel like
if we even get a backup point guard out of a G League guy, then this is a win.
Yeah, I was going to say his floor right now looks like backup point guard for next season, a solid backup point guard, maybe a 6-man type thing. Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he bad for the tank? Yeah, I agree with your answer also. Like, you have young guys playing well, you can't really It's also one thing if it's like some random young guy who's never going to be a part of the team, or if it's a guy that you're like, oh, he could be part of our future playing well. You got to be happy about that.
Exactly.
Frank writes, how and why are the Knicks so inept that they can't even tank it correctly?
I mean, it was really tough competition with Orlando. We had that one marked down for like 3 weeks ago. I mean, Orlando's perfecting the tank.
Yeah, I also just think you look at the teams ahead of the Knicks, then they're all much more professional about losing games. The Knicks just don't. It's a tough thing a tough road for us to go. Like, it is what it is. Like, if KP got injured earlier, maybe we could do it. But this far into the season, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Julian writes, happy with Frank point guard and Burke shooting guard. Mudiay from the bench seems the good option. However, we need a 3 big time because Hardaway concerns me going forward. What do you guys think of him? Is he tradable on draft night alongside Lee and Cantor?
I think he is, and I would love to dupe somebody into taking Hardaway.
Really? So I'm not ready to trade him.
I'm totally ready.
I think I'm fine keeping him. I know he's had some rougher stretches, but I think he gives you enough that his contract's not that bad. He's still young. He can get better. Of guys we're going to trade, I'd rather move on from like veterans. Like you can't trade everyone. You could
trade him though.
I don't know. He can get hot for you some nights. I think with a better team around him, he can play. He could be a good asset to have.
I think 50 games into next season, where he's hot 1 out of every 5 games, you're going to be on my boat.
Yeah, I might be, but I feel like even with that rough stretch he had, I don't think he's that bad. He's decent enough. I don't think the contract's as horrible as you think it is. Yes, I'd rather pay him less. But of all the guys, I feel like Cantor and Lee make more sense to move than Hardaway. Like I like the veteran presence Lee has, but at the same time, the team's going to be bad anyway. So trade those guys for assets. And Cantor also is terrible on defense. Cantor's worse on defense than Timmy Hardaway's on defense.
Okay, well, I don't think he's not the worst defender on the team is a good reason to keep the guy.
Uh, I just don't think you also can get a lot for him. No, I mean that's a totally fair point. But what can you get for Hardaway? I feel like you're going to dump him, not get much, and you need players in the roster.
Yeah, so far the G League players are working out better for me than Timmy is.
I mean, we don't have a lot of shooting guard. I mean, let's say you get rid of him, then you have Mudiay as your starting shooting guard. What do you have?
Yeah, I don't want Mudiay either.
Hardaway's better than Mudiay. I mean, Mudiay is obviously more of the point guard. I'm just saying there's not a lot of he's young. You don't think he can be at all part of a winning team?
Not really, no.
See, I think Hardaway could be. He's not going to be an all-star, but I think he could be a pretty decent contributor on a good team.
Okay.
I mean, he has that. There are parts of the season. I mean, parts of the season he looked terrible, and parts of the season he looked great.
Yeah, that's what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't want a guy who looks terrible for good stretches of the season.
A lot of shooters are. A lot of players are streaky at times.
Yep, and I don't want them.
Well, it's almost impossible to find guys that aren't streaky at times.
Yeah, but he's like one of the streakiest I've ever seen.
He's had some rough stretches. I mean, he also had an injury that maybe the injury kind of threw off his season a lot. I think it's silly to move on from him. I don't think you can really move on from him right now anyway, but I think it's silly to try to be desperate to trade him right now. The roster is so terrible anyway. You're not gonna get at most it'd be some kind of salary dump where a team gets you back even worse crap because you're trying to get out of that.
I don't know. I think you could have some teams convinced that he can pull it together and be consistent. You're
gonna trade him back to like Atlanta for a draft pick again?
And no, I think Atlanta knows he sucks, but I think other teams might be able to get fooled.
Yeah, the problem is, Jay, with your idea here is that the Knicks can't trade him to the Knicks.
I know. That is the one wrinkle on my theory.
We are the lowest common denominator from bad teams to trade to.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not ready to give up on him, but I see you are. Gilliam writes, a couple of draft-related questions. Michael Porter has had injury trouble in his back. If he fell on draft day, at what position the Knicks would have to have for you to pick? Would you be okay with taking a chance on him? So where would the Knicks pick? So Michael Porter, he's pretty much, I think he's missed this whole season. And he's got back injuries, but at the same time, he's considered a top prospect. So where in the draft would you be okay with the Knicks taking him?
9th.
So with 9th, he falls to 9, you're totally fine with the Knicks taking him.
Yeah, at 9, you got to take gambles. You're not going to get a world beater, hands down world beater at 9. You got to take gambles.
Back stuff scares me, but you're right in the sense of like, if he puts the back stuff behind him, then you can then he could be an all-star.
Yeah.
It seems Jay's pick, Doncic, could be the number 1 pick, and the Knicks have slim chances in the lottery. What's Jay's alternative, more realistic pick aside from Doncic? So Jay, we're going to assume the Knicks are going to pick around 9th.
Yeah.
Can you make your prediction?
I've not looked that deep into the draft, to tell you the truth.
Could you make up a player's name?
No, that would be hard to just make up a player and have him actually be a player that's in the draft.
Jay's like, they're going to draft at number 9, Mitch Tuff. I think there's supposed to be a decent amount of players that people are talking about.
Yeah. I mean, we'll do a draft episode like in a week or 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of disheartening to even talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it would be disheartening, except for the fact that we're kind of at the point where it makes sense to talk about it. Right here, I see a rankings of the top 9 of the top picks. Oh, I thought they have Miles Bridges going to 10, and they have this guy Jalen Brunson going number 9. But this has nothing to do with this just has a pure player rankings, not what teams are going to take them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know enough about these guys either. I guess I got to watch the tournament. Is there ever going to be a season where we're not concerned about the draft?
Nope.
No. That's all our questions. Anything else you want to add?
We got 3 new reviews. So thank you for the reviews. If you download the show other than through iTunes, it would help if you subscribed anyway, because that helps us in our rankings. Yes. So Henry writes, awesome show, great show. Wish they did more than 1 show a week like they used to. Maybe next season. Doc writes, best podcast for a lifelong Knicks junkie. I've been listening to all the New York Knicks podcasts I could find, and I have to say this is the podcast I look forward to more than any of them. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And a bunch of gibberish as a username. Great podcast, down to earth and hilarious. Makes my week every week. So thank you so much, everybody.
Awesome.
And we will be back next week.
Dude, so we have let's make our predictions for the week.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks, they will play Monday night. They're going to play Golden State. Yeah, so that's pretty much a given for the tank, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then Friday they are playing Clippers.
That's probably a loss.
Yeah, I gotta say that's still the Clippers. Clippers are still way better. There's no way we're beating the Clippers, right?
No.
I hope not. And then Sunday night, 9 p.m., which will be during the show, the Knicks will be playing Sacramento. How scared should we be?
Knicks are winning that one, definitely.
I mean, is there even a chance?
See, some people, just want to add real quick, some people have asked, why we don't do meetups at games and stuff. Look at this. All right. There is a home and away against Cleveland. The away game for Cleveland has tickets available for $18 as the cheapest tickets. And the one in New York, the cheapest tickets are $127. And it's like that for everything. You want to go see Portland in Portland? $9. You want to go see Toronto at MSG? $69. So, yeah, MSG prices just got so out of control.
I mean, the one thing I say for Sacramento is they're playing a roster where they're playing a bunch of young guys that maybe they'll get hot against the Knicks.
Charlotte tickets are $6.
I know. It is so frustrating. I like the Knicks. It's just so goddamn expensive to go to a game. If you're...
You still there? I think we have lost Mark. Thank you, Skype. Skype updated their program, and now it barely works, and we get disconnects and can't hear each other. So that is great. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We will be back next week.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. Time to go. This is the end.